You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away. Dare to discover.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to Into the Night with me, your host Sean Kelly. It is my Sunday night show, and I am so excited about tonight. It's kind of a sad one, okay? But it depends on how you deal with the topic we'll be talking about tonight, okay? And the reason why I brought this up, well, before I go on, Kurt, how are you, sir? Good to see you here. And I got my friend. Oh, she's helping me out too. God bless you. ACL, good to see you. Pittsburgh Paranormal Society, great to see you. Cindy Mitch, Heidi, oh my gosh, good to see everybody. Michelle, great crew. They're my angels. They're my guardian angels. I'm telling you. But first of all, I want to say that my show is on Sunday night and Tuesday. Hey, Joe Fogg. On Sunday nights and Tuesday nights from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. on UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. And to the topic tonight. Now, I don't know if many watch football. Okay. The Steelers, their first round draft pick, Derek Harmon. He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And his mom was in the hospital and she was in a coma. And he had to go over there. I mean, he dropped his party, the whole 9 yards. He said, listen, I have to go and tell my mom I got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, he gets over there to the hospital, tells his mother that he got drafted, and not 5 minutes later, she closed her eyes and died. And kind of hit me hard, and I don't know. For 21 years of this kid's life, his mom did everything. Took him to football, even though she had brain surgeries and stuff like that. She was up, but she made sure her son got to football practices and went to college and um, it the story, if you can, it's sad, but Mr. Derek Harmon, who got his mom passed. It's a touching story, and the reason, and it really hit me hard, and I just thought, why not bring it up? There's a lot of questions I have to ask, and I'm gonna ask some tonight. I don't have the reasons, but I do tell you that I'm an empath and I do feel feelings and stuff like that. So if I break out in a little tear tonight, you know the reason why. But I had to tell. It was like, okay, Sean, you need to tell about this. You need to tell how you feel, And so it's what we're going to talk about tonight. Is we're going to talk about death and how it affects loved ones, um, friends, families, all kinds of things. But I am so grateful that I have my truly blessed friend coming on and kind of like help co-hosting or, she's a guest, but she has a podcast on Monday nights on UPRN Talk Radio. And a lot of people know her too. She's a beautiful lady. Um, Beautiful lady. I'm truly blessed because when I first started this, she was the first one to reach out and talk to me about all this podcasting, and we became very good friends ever since. And without further ado, the host of the Angel Rock Monday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern, Miss Lorilei Potvin. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody.
So sweet, Sean.
There she is.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, and this isn't your fault, and I will never, ever tell you again, but I tell everybody because my name is spelled so weird, and thank you for having me. It's Laura Lee, and it's spelled like Lorelei. So, and Sean usually calls me Laura. I know you're an empath like I am. Just call me Laura, guys. It's so much easier trying to remember what to call me, but thank you for having me. And I need to give I need to give one little plug. Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who is the host of Spirit Switchboard on Fridays, 6 to 8 p.m. here on UPRN, and I are doing a brand new show on Thursday nights. I don't even know if we talked about this, Sean. I don't think we did. And it is called Beneath the Hollow Moon. And we did the first episode 2 weeks ago, like 1 minute to prepare kind of thing. We told you what was coming. Last week we did, what did we do? See, my brain's not working either.
Something about the moon.
Of course. This week, time travel, the Mandela effect. So and that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But thank you for having me.
Oh man!
Hi everybody in the chat. Nice to see you.
I'm telling you what, she's the best, and Carrie Lynn too.
Yes, I love her.
I love her too. I love everybody on this station.
I do. I was telling Carrie Lynn today because she's on another podcast, not on our network. She's guesting somewhere else. And she just loves you too. I know she does. And we've often talked about you because we really do love you, Sean. And I was telling her because I'd never told her the story that, you were barely on the network and I connected and reached out to you because otherwise we never get a chance to talk, right? We don't see one another. Mm-hmm.
And no, we do. And we might go a couple months, ladies and gentlemen, 2 or 3 months without chatting, and then it's like whenever I message Laura and she messages me, it's like we don't stop. We just start where we left off. There's no.
Oh, yeah. You're one of those friends. And maybe it's the empath thing and being sensitive. Who knows in the paranormal field? But you're right. It's like the conversation just picks up where we left off. And there's time has even passed. I love
And then,
that.
and he's also part of the chat, which is Saturday nights with the
Mhm.
boys,
With the
6,
boys. I went the
7:30.
week before. I came both nights, and I would have come Friday night too, but I was kind of tired because I used to do the Friday night show all the
Right.
time with the boys, and then
Hmm.
things kind of changed up a little bit. And then I was talking to Joe Montaldo, who owns our wonderful network and has many great shows on here, and I was letting him know, since we're talking about death, I used to be on a previous network, and I love him dearly, and I knew he was sick. He used to be on the other network, and he used to syndicate his show over here. And it's actually my network I used to be on out of Washington, D.C. went down like 1 second. I swear to God, well, probably 30 seconds. And I was thinking of starting a show on my own. And he reached out and he said, Laura, hi, Ryan. And he
Hey,
said,
Ryan.
Laura, do you think maybe you need to get back on the air? And he connected me with Joe. And meanwhile, I'm looking things up on Joe, and I wrote him back and said, "Oh my gosh, Joe's already on my friends list." So that's actually how I made the connection to come on here over almost 6 years ago. So his name's Chip Reichenthal,
Hmm.
and the way he had posted, and I private messaged him, it almost sounded like he was in hospice, but he was recovering, and he anticipated something positive coming out of there. And then I was sitting on the front steps because I work as a psychic medium as well, and he popped in, and I said, "Oh, you made it home." I said, "I'm happy you're home, but I'm
Well,
sad." So I reached out to Joe. Joe had already known anyways, but I wanted to let him know because Chip really loved Joe and really, really respected him. And I know Joe felt that way about him. And we're
mhm.
talking about the topic of death.
Yes,
And
we
you know
are.
what? Nobody get, and I don't say this without feeling, but none of us that get out of here alive, and
Right.
suffering the death of my own son very unexpectedly in January, that it has really come to my attention. Never mind that I have worked in the death and dying field most of my adult life as a nurse. Um, it's a real study in the human condition. And everybody that messages, really, I know they were coming from a good space, but people just don't know what to say either or how to process it,
Hmm.
including even the story that you shared too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about the story too is, because I live in Pittsburgh and I've been a Steelers fan forever. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to school with the Rooneys, you know. And I tell you what, that family is a one class act family. I mean, they really are taking care of him, But think about it, Lord. I mean, you know, the mom did everything, made sure he got to football practice. I mean, their relationship was so tight, was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, when he reached his goal, his mother passed. And I'm saying to myself, okay, and this is one of the questions I wanted to bring up is why does spirit, God, Allah, whoever you believe in, okay, take the good people first,
I'm glad
and
you asked that question. Sorry, I
and
didn't mean
that
to.
and the bad people are here causing more trouble. I mean, God bless that kid, and I guarantee it. The city of Pittsburgh and the NFL are going to have this kid's back. But why? I've been asking that question for a very, very long time.
Well, I
And,
haven't. Go ahead, but finish. But please, I'm
okay.
sorry to cut you off.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could never find an answer for it. And I had to bring that question up because that kid must really be hurting. You know what I mean? And
I have an
I
answer.
okay, tell me.
Answer. And if it resonates with you or anybody listening, wonderful. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So I'm even going to go from the perspective of my son passing away. And he died of pneumonia. This bug that I still have, we all have in our house. We haven't been able to kick it. Didn't expect him to pass. He had a cardiac arrest. And I love that child. I love both my boys, but I mean, my son was like a 5 to 8 year old. He had severe autism. I did everything for him. I was never apart from him. And when he died, I kept asking Spirit, as we call it collectively, and even him, why did you have to go? Like, why was your journey over? And I got the answer. I would never have left my son for anything. I've had many opportunities to travel, to further my own career, to do many things, and I didn't. Okay, I
Hmm.
would never have left him. Now, that's not why he left, but I think it was part of his mission to be here. Both my children have been my greatest teachers. The greatest gift to me, I was always told I'd never be able to have biological children. So I always said, I not only won the lottery once, I won it twice. But I also believe because we have even a saying that says only the good die young. Now, we're all
Right.
here for a purpose, right? And when
Hmm.
we've got really good people, salt of the earth people, I see that Joe Fox put the good get rewarded. Well,
Yes.
in a way, but I think they're here also to learn a lesson. But when that contract for whatever they're here that they maybe agreed to before they incarnated, they're done. But the other reason why, okay, let's take this young man's mom. And I've seen this many times working in palliative care. You're right. She did do all that for her son. And you know what? Most great parents would do the same, and it's pure love, right?
Right.
She, I think, was hanging on until she heard the news. She heard the news that he got what they were working together. He did all the work, but she supported him 100%.
Hmm.
And it's literally like, yes, now I can go. And she's going to support him from the other side, just as I know my son has and has given us many signs, not wishful thinking, and other people too have seen evidence of this. Now, the people that do bad things, right? We need to look at that from a perspective of a lot of times, sometimes our own worst enemies and the people that are really, really awful and do awful things, sometimes they've made that agreement to come here to help other people make the choice of what am I going to do with this? What am I going to take from it? What am I going to learn from it? Plus, they also have things to learn, right? So there's
Hmm.
many reasons why good people go to heaven. Not heaven, I shouldn't say. They go back home or they pass away. It seems early because we're here for a purpose, and I really believe that our contract is complete. We've done
Hmm.
everything we need to do. Plus, we can always help from the other side, and many times in a different perspective than we could in the physical form, if that makes sense at all.
Makes a lot of sense. That's
Mm.
like my father back in 1986.
Hmm.
And what's really crazy about my father is when he passed, he was only 52.
Oh.
But I never mourned for him. Never mourned. It
Hmm.
was like I never mourned, and that bugged me for the longest time.
Hmm.
Why I wasn't mourning for him, and I guess for me, I finally came up to the conclusion 10 years later. Somehow, spirit would not let me mourn. Okay,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, you don't know what you're going to be doing in 15 years, Sean, but I know what you're going to be doing.
Hmm.
So you seriously need to get your shit together, so you don't have to mourn. And that's pretty cool. You know what I
Well,
mean?
even with the mourning and the grieving, and I know you're very intuitive as well as empathic, as am I. And
Yeah.
thank you, Michelle. Um, the thing is, right, we can feel like I could feel it when you were talking about this young man, and we can almost feel if we were in their position how heartbreaking that would be. And that's why things like this really hurt people that are deeply empathic. I think we're all empathic, but on different levels, and depending on whether we sort of agree, yes, I'm very empathic, okay, we can feel that. And
Right.
so that's why it really touches us and it hurts us. But like with your dad, with the grieving, like I'm still grieving my son. And I know people, some people said, well, why are you going back to your show? So first of all, I love it. You guys, I love all these people. A lot of the people that are here show up for all of our shows.
Yes.
Great diversion. I can talk about him. Okay. And I haven't fully grieved him. There is no timetable for grief. When it's meant to happen, it does. right?
Mhm.
But also, I do know beyond a shadow of a doubt, my son he popped in. I don't know if you saw me. You may not have seen me in the green room smiling because I said, "Hey, Jesse," in my head. And he said,
I
"Hi,
did.
Mom." He was already here. He's left
Yeah.
me physical signs. And my partner, who I live with, is one of the biggest skeptics in the world and has heard
Right.
him, has seen him. Other people have. He's still here. And now, you know what? I know he's part of my team on the other side now, as is your dad, and will be this young man's mom, to be able to do things that they may not have been able to do in the physical plane here, but they can certainly help on the other side in a different capacity. So it's okay if you never really did grieve, right? The
Right.
connection that you have. And again, we meet people too that will say things like, "Well, it's been long enough. Don't you think you should be over this by now?" There is no timetable for grief either,
I
because
didn't.
to me, and there was a series out in the UK about death and dying. I wish they would have continued it. It was quite a few years back, and they actually showed a diagram of, an active bunch of little black lines, if you will, call that grief, in the center of your heart. It never gets smaller. It's just
Mhm.
a different type of, if you will, normal starts
Right.
to evolve as time passes, but that never goes away. Never.
Uh, and like, and I enjoyed what you had to say, because maybe there will be a time where I'll sit down and bawl my eyes out, or and
But
I
if
mean
you
I
don't, it's okay too, Sean. It's okay
right,
too. Hmm.
but but what happened, and this is not just for me, it's for other people. When I started paranormal investigating, okay, seriously, we work with the dead, Lord.
We
Okay,
do.
we do work with the dead.
Mhm.
So it's like, okay, and I got a better perspective out of all this about my father and other people who's close.
Well,
But
you've had an NDE too. I know you've mentioned it on my shows, and I've studied them
yeah,
professionally and personally for over 40 years. I have been able to talk to patients that have had a cardiac arrest. I felt
hmm
very deeply blessed to be able to have a conversation. I used to work a lot of nights, and they're confused, they're scared, they don't know what's
hmm
happened, and they want to be able to talk about it, because I believe I've had one as a toddler myself, and I think that gives us a different perspective that we never really do die.
right. Not, and I agree with you 100%, because I don't think I had died, but I remember it clearly. I came out of it.
You
I
don't have to physically die. I've actually had people on my show who haven't necessarily had the clinical diagnosis of a near death experience, meaning your heart stopped, the breathing stopped, you were clinically no longer alive. Okay.
I
I have
did.
met many people who have had a near death like experience.
Right.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to throw that in there. So please
Okay.
continue about your experience.
Um, honestly, everything was lights out for me. Okay.
Mhm.
And I came to, and I
Yeah.
remember I'm laying in the bed, and I was on the ship too.
I remember your story. I remember you've talked about it. So please continue.
and well, a lot of people don't know about this story, but
I'm sorry, did I? Because I know you've talked about it publicly, or I would never have
yes,
said it.
I have, but I never shared it on my show. But that's okay. But no, I'm glad you did. But all I know is I awoke, and I'm laying in bed. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing all these people all over the freaking place.
Mhm.
And they weren't there. Nope. I heard voices. I heard people talking to me. I was like, what the hell's going on here? I'm seeing different things, seeing different people talking, and smelling different smells. And
Mhm.
I seriously thought I was going wacko, man,
Yeah.
until somebody sat down with me when I was in the service. Someone sat down and said,
Thank you for your
"Hey,
service.
this is what you are. This is what's happening." And
Mhm.
then I accepted it.
Mhm.
And then that's how my journey at becoming empathic, whatever, spiritualist, whatever. But that's when that person sat down and told me what was happening. I took it. You know,
Because it
I
resonated. It made sense,
yes,
right?
it like
Yes.
lit up. And you know what was crazy about that? That happened when I was like 21 or 22 years
Mhm.
old. And I even remember where I was at in Diego Garcia. And what the crazy thing about it was, um, I had a hard time remembering my childhood. Do you know what I mean? I took me a
After the
long,
experience, after you had
yes,
this experience, ooh,
yes,
now that's a whole
yes.
different rabbit hole to go down.
I'm telling you, it's a big ass rabbit hole. But no, I forgot all about high school. I forgot about grade school. Really didn't have any recollection of me growing up, how my dad was there, how my mom was there. Now eventually what's happening, it's coming back in little chunks. And some of the shit that's coming back, Lord, I'm telling you what, I wish I didn't know what I did back then, because it's like crazy, insane stuff.
But embrace it all.
Oh, I
I always
do.
say I try to walk the walk of the talk that I put
Hmm.
out there, and embrace it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, because it made you who you are today. Had you not
Hmm.
had the experiences that you had, you wouldn't be the wonderful, amazing friend that I have, and podcaster here that everybody loves, that's Sean Kelly.
Hmm.
You got to
True,
take it all. Mhm.
true. I mean, I do believe that when that happened, after a while, I was like really, really, truly blessed, because I knew, because I had uh, Pittsburgh Paranormal for 18 years.
Mhm.
And then I just knew it was time to go. It was time to let it go.
Mhm.
Because I was actually doing podcasting at the time. And I believe that when something happens, okay, when something just doesn't resonate no more, and you start on a new path, my path was to now is to help people with the paranormal, and me on my path to become a podcaster. But what was crazy is walking my path as a podcaster, especially at the beginning. Okay,
Yeah.
I was going down different roads: UFO lane, alien boulevard, uh, Bigfoot Street.
I go down all those lanes and the
I
spiritual
mean, it's great.
myself.
It's great.
And
It's
true
so
crime.
great.
And I
Yeah.
follow pop culture. I follow all, because lots of times when I go into podcasts, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I knew
Yeah.
what we were talking about, but I'm
Right.
okay with it because I love to have stimulating conversations with people. That's
Oh my
why I
God.
love
Yeah.
podcasting.
Lord, I'm going to share this little secret with you. And they know, some people know in here. Um, I don't know what I'm going to talk about until the show starts. You
I'm
know?
going to tell you this, and I said on air many times. I do not like to watch interviews when I've had a guest on that's been interviewed before.
Right.
And I treat them like they are an honored guest in my home. It is up to my audience to decide how they want to take whatever's being presented. I mean, don't
Hmm.
get me wrong, I vet people. I'm not just going to have somebody on I've never seen. But I also say before the show, every show, okay, Spirit, where are we going with this conversation?
I do
Mhm.
too. Before I even started, before I even jump into the back room, I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, God,
Joe asked a
let me get
question.
through this.
Do you,
What's that?
do you mind if I highlight it, Sean?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I
Please.
got because I thought it was so Joe Fox said, my dad was an awesome dad and a great human being. Why do you suppose I never really mourned him? Now, the only thing I can share with you, Joe, and I'd love to hear Sean's perspective too, because you shared a similar experience.
Right.
Maybe I didn't need to mourn him. Okay, whatever works for you. And if you are at peace with this, that's okay. Nobody has to go through. It's called The Five Stages of Death and Dying by Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I always wish it had been called The Five Stages of Loss.
Right.
And it's very clinical. You know, there's denial. I mean, I wasn't prepared to go through it. There's bargaining. At the end, there's finally acceptance. Well, nobody follows those stages one way or another. And whatever works for you, and if you are at peace with this, that is okay. And if you're not, right, I really do try to accept that things happen when they're meant to happen. Let's say, I'm not saying you are, Joe, but for anybody else listening, if you're having a hard time with this and you're feeling you maybe can't grieve, or you're not mourning the person and you're feeling maybe really at at ill ease, if you will, with it. There are people out there that can help with that. But if you're okay with where you are, with the relationship you had and your dad passing, that's okay. That's what's right for you and your dad.
Exactly. And Joe, honestly, that's how right now I feel with my father. Okay. Um, and that's the one thing that really bugged me, Joe, at the beginning was, I mean, I can see spirits everywhere or feel them, whatever, but I could never feel my dad. Okay. I could never feel him. I could never see him. And that bugged me for the longest time. And then one day, me and my mom were watching TV on the show, and all of a sudden, I smelled a cup of coffee and a cigarette.
You knew.
And,
You knew.
and yes, I knew right then and there. I knew. And I remember a lot of times that I was driving in severe rainstorms and snowstorms. And I said, Dad, if you're here, help me make it through. And he does. I just get that strength. And I don't know. I'm really looking forward. See, I was 24 years old when my father died. Okay. And I'm so looking forward to seeing him when I die. I mean, that's one of the. Hey, Drake, good to see you, buddy.
Well, I am writing 3 books. Hopefully I'll get I've talked about it forever. I have the outlines, but the third one I'm writing is a perspective mainly from nurses, but also first responders. And I hate the name of this, but they're called death doulas. They are people that support those that are terminally ill as well as their families as they make the transition from life, as I call it, going back home. Because the incredible things that we witness and we see at the bedside as somebody leaves this earthly plane is incredible. And I will tell you, in my past experience, and I usually, when I worked out in the community, so people would die at home and I'd help and be there and be at the end there with them whenever that happened. And people see their loved ones come and their pets come. I noticed, I think it was Kurt that mentioned about pets, and sometimes it's angels, but there's always people. I truly believe. Mainly, I can say this from a perspective of you're terminally ill. I'm so sorry. I forget the name of this young man from the Pittsburgh Steelers that was drafted.
Derek Carmen.
Daryl?
Derek.
Oh, Derek. Okay. I can guarantee you, even though Derek's mom was in a coma, she probably witnessed that as well. And of course, they don't.
Oh, yeah.
Just let you know I'm here. There's nothing to be afraid of, and they escort you back home, as I call it.
What I like about it too is now his mom, right? I hope the young man understands that his mother is in a better place now. She's not sick or hurting anymore. And I truly believe that.
You see spirit, as do I. And I can tell you, I have found when not every spirit shows themselves when I'm doing a mediumship reading. That was the biggest shock for me because I'm very clairaudient with spirit, so I hear spirit. But when I really got more into the mediumship side of things, like it was like I speak 3 different languages. Well, not Spanish so well anymore, but it was like going to a different country the way they present, right? But when spirit does present themselves, and I've seen them, they may show me what they look like when they passed, but then they almost morph into how they always felt the best in life, like the healthiest, the most beautiful, the most handsome.
I was just going to ask you that question because a lot of people claim, well, I saw my grandmother, but it's not the grandmother I remember. It's when she was young. You know what I mean? It's like all dressed up and snazzy, and then they wear the damn perfume. I don't know, that Jean Nate. That old people.
Jean Nate.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh my God, so many of that. But
I never liked it, but I remember getting it as a gift, as I'd say a tween at Christmas. I remember that smell. Yes, I think spirit comes through that way to show
it does.
That I'm healthy, I'm happy, I'm great. You don't need to worry about me. I'm living my best, if you will, life on the other side. And they're showing you how they felt the best in life, is what I believe.
Well, I tell you what, though, in my experience too, whenever I would do an investigation, and I've mentioned this in the house, in my chat, if there's a young couple that's duking it out, grandma and grandpa great grandma, grandpa are protecting that child. You
Oh,
know
yes.
what I mean? Oh yeah, they protect them, and that's when I'm being called, because they usually call and say, "Hey, I keep missing my keys. B, I'm hearing a lot of noise." And then I know right at the phone call or the email, right at the email, and I'm like, aha, so you two are fighting. And great grandma and grandpa are like, we don't want this shit. You know, you
Mhm,
got to take care of that grandbaby. And
mhm.
that's true. But listen, Laura, I'm gonna take a really, really quick 70-second break. All
Perfect.
right, people can pee and have a cigarette and do what they got to do. So we'll be back in about 70 seconds, everybody. And who can we play? We'll play this. Hey, welcome back to the second half of the night with me, your host, Sean Kelly, my special, very best friend, uh, fellow co-host of the Angel Rock, Miss Lorelei. Lori. I'm calling
Just
you Lori.
call me with it. And the only
I'm
reason I
calling
said
you
it,
Lori.
John, is because
Just
people will call me Lorelei. That was the only reason I said that, because I don't care what you call me.
I'm going to call you Lord, but I will not call you
It
Clarence. Okay.
doesn't matter. That's the only reason why I said it, because people hear it, and then I usually only correct somebody once. And people I'm good friends with, like yourself, still call me Lorelei, and I can't blame them because it's spelt like Lorelei. I
It
am
is,
named.
man. It's like somebody from Hawaii.
I
Hawaii.
am named. I'm not German, but I am named. It's actually a very morbid story. I am named after the Lorelei's in German mythology, who were sirens who used to lull sail, or with their song, used to lull sail or bring sailors in, crashing into the rocks to their death. Like, what a
Oh,
terrible meaning behind it.
oh my goodness, girl.
I
Don't
know it's morbid.
all I know. All I know is if I hear you singing or wailing, buddy.
Oh God, you don't want to hear me sing. I would make you crash. My brother can sing beautifully. He can play any instrument. He's never had a lesson. He's got albums. He's open for many. He does jazz and blues. Not my thing. I was going to say I love the opening to your music. That's my kind of music. But he is very gifted. I got all the drawing and the creative stuff. He got the music. But I guess you can't call a man Lorelei. That should have been his name.
I like Lord better. I like Lord better. But
Yeah.
my friend
Everybody
Drake
calls me that. Everybody does. Mhm.
Drake has said my late grandmother would come through and ask you the would smell was Avon's rose perfume. Never
Yeah.
heard of that one, buddy, but it's true. I did an
I smell that.
investigation one time, and we sat in a chair, and I guess I sat in the old man's chair, and he smoked a lot of cigars. It was gross, and um, cigars and drinking coffee. But our topic here tonight was about the death of Derek Harmon, who was a first round draft choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The poor kid was like 21 years old. His mother was in a coma. He got to the hospital right before, after he got drafted by the Steelers, told his mom, and she passed away like 5, 6 minutes later. And that's why I thought about this because it was like, it was heavy on my mind. I would not want to say that it was bugging me. It was just like, really was having a hard time understanding why God takes the good people or whoever you believe in.
I don't think God takes us. I
I
believe.
do see. I see. See. I see. I believe it. Okay. And
Okay, so what
I
I'm
would,
going to share this. I'm going to share this. So I
okay.
think,
Go ahead. Go.
the minute, like we obviously we're going to know when we're going to be born, but some people have exit points, I think, built in, especially if they have chosen a particularly difficult life. And I think
Hmm.
that that's where we see people that have had near death experiences, maybe have had some near fatal accidents. And it's always free will when we leave. We do have an exit point, okay, that we know we will be leaving. But I think with free will, we could also really choose. You've heard the will to live, right?
Right.
I don't think God chooses that date. I think we do. We are part of, if you want source, you can call it God, you can call it whatever belief, Buddha, whatever that is, okay, what we come
Right.
from. We are part of that. And God, I don't think chooses that date for us. We choose it.
Hmm.
And sometimes we never know the answer as
Right.
to why our loved one has left. But I can see what you were feeling because it's heartbreaking. Here's this young man, Derek, getting the most exciting, incredible news of his life. And he goes to share it with the one person he loves the most that has been there for every second to get him where he is.
Hmm.
She passes away 5, 6 minutes later.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's crazy. I mean, it's and you can go down many rabbit holes with that. And I'm not going to do a rabbit hole. I'm going to let this young man grieve. You know what I mean? And he has every he deserves to grieve. But you know what? Like I said at the beginning, the Rooneys are just one outstanding family, and um, they'll take care of him. So will the city of Pittsburgh.
Well,
And
I think too, right? And I've seen this working in palliative care, and I've had this conversation with close friends too. So I have seen this type of thing happen, right? And I think
right,
it really feels like, and only I would know, I guess, if I really tapped in or whatever, but his mom, in a way, same as my son. My son was 26 years old. He was going to turn 27 March. We did March 14th. Never expected in a million years this would happen. It was very unexpected. Died. I'm up. I podcast from my room right in front of me, like, and I was right there. And I realized too that, you know what, he was here for many reasons. I always said he had
hmm,
a small world, but he had a big impact on the people that he got to know and meet. But I
right,
also know he is here with me, guiding me. He will be here supporting me in a completely different way because I would never have left him. And as for Derek's mom, and I've seen this with other loved ones, it's like, yes, yes, this happened. This was a goal. I supported him. I loved him. It was the best news she could ever receive. It's almost like now I can go.
yeah.
I can
I,
go because
I
she.
agree with you 100% on that. I do agree, and I'm happy for the young man, but
But
I'm just,
heartbroken.
yeah. Oh
He'd
my
love
God.
to have his mom see him play his first game, and she will see that, but
Right.
not in the physical form that we would all love for Derek to be able to experience, right?
Exactly. And I'm okay with that. Now, if I was in his shoes, something happened to my mom. I'm 63. My mom's 85. God bless her. She passes me, and I still have to behave because I know she'd be watching, and I know she'll still have that old Irish stuff going on, with it.
Also going to add, it's all about how you look at it. Okay. This year, I turned 60 in August, right?
No
Um,
way. You look
I
42.
do. I turned 60.
No, I
And
don't believe that
I
word.
would never have left Justin. I had many opportunities over the years. I was his mom, and I was here,
Hmm.
right? That was a gift I was given from up above, and never expected I would have a child with a severe disability, but I loved every minute of it. And that's what I truly asked. Like, I'm sharing this. I really kept saying, why did you have to go? Like, why now? I remember Christmas, I have a video clip pinned to my profile, and he literally said to me that night, "Mommy, this has been the bestest bestest Christmas ever.
Mhm.
And he got to have that. He got to experience that. But I also know now, with connecting with spirit, the signs that he's left, he's going to be able to help in a completely different way. And he hasn't left. He hasn't left. He's still here, just not. I wish I could have him in physical form. All of us do. But our loved ones never leave us. I don't think they do.
You see what Sparky wrote there? What the hell? It looked like an old skeleton.
Well, thank you, Sparky. Hugs and kisses. But yes, I'm going to be 60.
And that's what Heidi said a while back. She said they are soul contracts. You know what I mean?
Yes, she's right.
I believe, and I keep thinking that God, God, that's who I deal with, is going to keep me till I'm 133 and a half years old. It just feels like it, you know what I mean? Because I'm fat.
Stop.
Oh.
And the other thing,
no. I mean, if you look at it, according to the American Medical Association, I'm telling you what, I should have been dead 15 years ago because of all the.
But you're not. And you know what? You are here and you're helping so many people in so many different capacities, including, we don't know who's watching this show. And we know that spirit. That's why I asked spirit, just as like you said, you connect too, because spirit knows who's going to see the show live, and they know who is going to see the replay and who may need to hear what we're talking about. Right.
And that's true. But I like to throw a little bit of razzmatazz into the show. You know what I mean? I like my people. And I got to tell you too, Lord, everybody that comes and supports the station. And they're in my chat right now, and there's a lot more, but I call them my guardian angels.
Yes.
I really do. They're my guardian angels. Because I know if I'm having a really bad week, I will be here on a Sunday or Tuesday night, and I just see Heidi, Sparky, Cindy, Michelle, everybody.
Why do you think I came back not even a week after my son died?
Yeah.
We didn't talk about him right away, but I came back because we love everybody it's a family here. It is.
Yeah, it is a family. It's a very nice family too. And I am so honored. Okay, they're talking too quick. So, but listen, honey, we got about 4 minutes left. And what I want to do is I want to give you, my dear friend, the last 4 minutes of the show.
Thank you. I want to thank you for having me. I also want to let you guys know who are here. If Sean is open to this, because we've already booked it, he's coming on my oldest son's birthday. That's why I remember July 14th on the Angel Rock. We got 2 hours to continue this conversation. Anything Sean wants to talk about. So I'm very glad. So thank you. But I want to put out to everybody, for anybody out there that's maybe hurting, is in a dark place, maybe a deep place, is maybe thinking that, why is my life so awful? And because I've met many people that are going through this. And what I want to share to you is, you may not know this, but you mean more to more people than you will ever know. If you're having a difficult time, it is okay to reach out and say, I need some help. And that you are loved. You are loved by all up above and around you. And again, you are loved by many people that you have no idea. Yes, and don't forget to smash that like button too, guys. But you are loved by so many people.
Thanks, Sparky.
And you know what? I promise you, it does get better. Especially if you've lost someone that you love. Lean on the people that love you. Lean on, all of us have somebody we can either talk to, and if you don't, there are there's support groups, there are many things out there, groups of people that can help and support you while you're going through this. I want to send you all so much love and gratitude, as well, Sean, for having me on. I hope you will join me tomorrow night on the Angel Rock at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we are having I'm trying to have more UPRN hosts on my show. So we are having, hang on, I got to grab it because I always screw up her name because I know too many people by this. Carol Ann Ayadarola from Ethereal Encounters. Her show is on Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and she's coming on. And then Carrie Lynn and I are doing a show on Thursday. Like I said, it's the new show Beneath the Hollow Moon, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in UPRN. We're talking about time travel devices, timelines, the Mandela effect. And if you guys ever want to get a hold of me, I do psychic mediumship, I do crystal Reiki and energy healing, Akashic records. I also do spiritual teaching and mentoring. I do have my first course coming up. We are working on that, Leanne Clark and I, very close friend of mine. That's coming up hopefully in the summer or early fall, depending on if too many people are traveling, and it might be better for fall. But you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/Angel or any social media platform. And I'd love to talk to you. And thank you, Sean, for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on. I love you, girl.
I love you too.
I swear to God, I do. Thank you for being on tonight. I want to
Thank
thank everybody that participated into the chat. And Mr. Derek Harmon, my heart goes to you.
Absolutely.
Okay? And many prayers for your mom. Okay. Children, if you can, please go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them.
Everybody in your life, everybody, let them know what they need. Don't assume that they know. Let them know.
Yes.
That's good.
Literally. And parents, please go to your children and give them a hug and tell them that you love them.
Absolutely.
And if you have no parents, if you have no children, find someone, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a very long way.
Sure do.
And on that note, good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
See you Tuesday night.